I'm here in the multicultural melting pot of Cabramatta, which is about 30 k's west of Sydney. Now, this area represents over 28 different ethnic groups, and most of the people that live here were actually born overseas, which makes for a very colourful mixture of not just Asian culture, but also all things food, from herbs to spices, dumplings to die for, and a laksa fit for a king. And it's my mission, folks, to make sure it's all on the menu. Cabramatta is one of multicultural Sydney's beating hearts. From here, the CBD seems a world away. This community has been shaped by massive Asian migration since the 60s, creating what's seen as Sydney's true Asian experience. There's a lot to see, and luckily I'm getting expert help. Chef and author Selva Rajah. What's the best thing about Cabramatta for you?
It's the vibes, the people, the smells, the aromas. Asians shout, at each other. I grew up in Malaysia. Everyone was screaming, talking loudly. When I come here, I become Asian.
Right.
I forget that I've been in Australia for 30 years. I become Asian. I eat Asian. I talk Asian.
Yeah.
I am at home here. I don't have to go back to Asia.
You put your feet up and you deserve to be spoiled?
I tell you what, after I cook, you give me a massage.
Okay.
My feet.
Your feet?
My feet.
All right. With 11 cookbooks under her belt, I'm going to have to impress. Shopping here feeds the senses. It's all very hands-on. You have to smell and touch and feel your way around. The variety here just kind of like gets me very, very excited. Look at that. It's green mango. They eat it with salt and chilli. But I mean, look at this. It's a mango. Look at that. Another mango, different variety. Different varieties of mango. Here again, different variety. And over here, green for Thai curries and things. Here, it's a mango. Hello, how are you? It's another mango. Having trouble making up your mind. It's just too much. I love it. Very, very exciting. I just can't believe the variety. I mean, not just the mangoes.
And I show you other things. Remember, as a child, you might have used a loofah
Yes.
to scrub yourself? Now, this is the loofah, and this is what it looks like in the inside.
Yep.
And if you dry it up, it'll be that sort of leathery, sort of
Yes.
fibery stuff that you'd scrape your body
Okay,
with.
but people eat this.
People eat this. We can cut it apart, take the center out, and fill it with pork and steam it.
They're bargaining.
Ah, okay, fine. That's what Asia is. This is why I like Asia.
Everything's big. It's all good. I can understand why you can write 11 cookbooks and still come here and get excited. It looks really interesting too. Okay, we're shopping now. They're going to argue, but we're going to shop. And it's not just veggies. The fruits of the sea are here in abundance too.
Can you give me about 3 pieces of those fish, please?
And Carol's making me her seafood laksa, which is fit for a king. Did you see how many oysters there are over there? Look at the size of them. You might have to have some. Carol, you like oysters?
Yes.
Oh, we
yes,
should sit and have one or two, shouldn't we?
Shouldn't we? Yes.
Yeah, we should.
Can we get some oysters and we should try some there?
Small and tasty. Again, variety and fresh. Mind-blowing. How are you having yours?
I'm just going to have it with a toothpick here, but with a bit of soy sauce.
A little bit of soy. I like mine with a little bit of pepper and a squeeze of lemon. I've got to tell you, folks, it's dangerous to shop here on an empty stomach. So, while we're at it, I think we should have a bowl of Vietnamese pho, and that's the soup. Then, back to the shopping list. Next item, pork. So what, you only do one at a time? You're a bit tired today. It's now time to let Carol know precisely how much planning has gone into what I'm cooking her. None. Well, actually quite a bit. I had it in China and in Beijing, and it's this kind of bready thingy-jiggy with some stuff in it, and I don't really know how to make it, but I'm going to try and make it for you. Being a gentleman, I'm letting Carol go first, and she's cooking me a laksa fit for a sultan, literally.
And this is a special laksa.
And then I'll attempt to spice up your life. Believe it or not, we're a stone's throw from Sydney CBD. This is the Chinese Gardens in Darling Harbour. These gardens are so beautiful and so peaceful. I thought, what better place for Carol to cook a laksa fit for a king? Be with you in a minute, Carol.
No worries, Paul. While Paul is there enjoying himself with the tai chi, I'm just going to dry roast a little bit of dry coconut.
Right.
Now, Paul.
You started.
I started.
Good, I might go and finish my form. I only did like 15 minutes of it and it goes for an hour. Oh, browning up some coconut.
Yes, you can use fresh coconut, but it'll brown a little longer. It'll take a little longer.
Coconut browned, add oil, garlic, lemongrass and galangal. It's part of ginger, isn't it?
It's a different aroma.
Yes.
It's almost medicinal to have that.
Yeah.
Lovely,
it's
isn't
not
it?
as sharp. Now, this laksa really is fit for a king. Well, actually a sultan. You see, Carol got this recipe from the sultan's wife herself.
It was just such an act of generosity.
Yes.
You know, it was just beautiful. And this is a special laksa. Now I'm going to add some stock.
Fish stock?
Fish and prawn heads.
Okay.
This was lovely mackerel that we picked up in Cabramatta. Remember? We picked it up?
I remember it.
We'll just cook it for a little while. And as soon as it's boiled, I'm going to take it apart, take the bones apart and pound it in the mortar and pestles, because this is what the laksa is all about.
Right.
It's the fish that's blended.
Oh. They're actually quite simple, aren't they?
Very simple, as long as you get the ingredients. Prepping the laksa is more difficult than anything else.
So the fish goes back in the pan with the coconut milk, add curry powder, fish sauce and tamarind, and just make sure you have the right equipment. That's what happens when you cook outside, folks, and not in a professional kitchen.
Yeah, come here. These are tiny little fruits. It's just like the star fruit, it's a smaller version of that.
Quite dry and slightly bitter and sour.
And then a little bit of lime juice.
That's a lovely looking lime.
Beautiful, isn't it?
It's a lemon, folks. I think she's cheating.
We couldn't get lime.
But why not? I mean, the thing is, if you can't get lime or you can't get some ingredients, make it anyway.
Before that, I'll add the prawns, because the prawns are going to sit on top as garnish. So this is coming out. Now some of that coconut is going to go in just a little bit to thicken it.
Curry laksa?
Curry laksa.
Fit for a king?
Johor laksa.
Johor laksa.
Johor
I think
laksa
we should
Johor.
go and taste it. All right, let's go eat.
You're going to do your tai chi?
I might, after this, I might have a sleep. There you go, folks. As eaten in the royal household itself. Hey, and you can get the recipe too, if you want. Just go to mecuriosmenu.com for the info.
Good, isn't it? I cook for you anytime, Paul. Anytime.
Heaven. Unfortunately, Carol, I have to go and get a few ingredients to cook.
Okay, fine.
So that I can cook for you. Do you mind just waiting here?
Not
And
at
I'll
all.
be back.
Not at all. I'll sit down here and mind the beer for you.
I'm just popping down the road to Brazil, to one of the best herb and spice shops I know. Fittingly, it's run by Herbie, well, Ian Hemphill, who's travelled the globe to bring you and me the world's best spices. Your nickname?
Herbie.
Herbie.
Yeah.
You'd have the largest amount of spice in Australia?
We claim to have the largest range of culinary herbs and spices in the Southern Hemisphere.
Now, I've got a question. It's a very important question, and everyone out there wants to know. What's the difference between a herb and a spice?
A herb is basically the leafy part of the plant that we pick and use. So thyme, sage, marjoram, parsley, basil, etc. A spice can actually come from any other part of the plant.
This is cinnamon, and this is how it comes from. Where does it come from?
This is how it comes from Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka.
You'll sort of look at that and you'll think, oh yes, and you'll smell that. Not a lot of aroma. But then, once you break it like so, and then you smell that.
Oh, wow.
Now, what you're doing, of course, when you break it, you're releasing the volatile oils.
There's over 150 spices here, and Herbies also do about 90 blends, which is what I'm here for.
The main thing is you just follow a few very basic principles with spices, and when we blend them together, we're actually looking for balance between the flavours. So, for instance, here, we've got the spices that go into Chinese five-spice.
I love this.
So what we've got here are cloves, star anise, which of course is used a lot in Chinese cookery. We've got fennel seed, black pepper of course, and cassia bark, which is the Asian version of cinnamon.
All right, well, let's crush some up, because obviously making it fresh like this would be more aromatic.
That's right. So you initially crush them like this, and then you just work a circular motion like that, and, you know, just catch a load of that aroma.
Fantastic. Just a second. Also, you can work out your angst.
Exactly. Good exercise.
Yeah. Now, what was it that my producer asked me to do? The other one I want to do, and this is what you've suggested, I thought maybe a little bit of pepper leaf, which is a native spice.
Yes, Australian native pepper, yep.
And I haven't ever seen these ones, and what are they?
They're long pepper. So they're directly related to ordinary black pepper, come from a vine that's very similar. Really goes well in Asian cooking.
Cool, so that's dumplings, that's my Sichuan lunch bun, Moroccan spice.
Perfect. Well, if you want a good Moroccan spice, go for Ras El Hanout.
Cool, thanks mate. I'll take that with me.
Okay.
Thanks very much for that. See you soon.
Good, Paul. See you later.
Grab a cup of tea now, because after the break, I'm meeting a real fun guy. And that's the funniest thing I ever heard. Didn't do that. And then I go head to head with the dumpling master. Now, Sydney can be all go, go, go at times, so I'm taking the chance to sit back and think what I might like to throw on the plate for dinner. It's kind of romantic train travel, isn't it? In fact, I've done the trip from Melbourne to Perth, called the Indian Pacific, 4 times and loved it. But today, I'm on my way to the Southern Highlands to a little town called Bowral, and I'm going to meet a bloke who loves to hang out in his own train tunnel. And that fun guy just happens to be Australia's biggest producer of exotic mushrooms. A lovely bloke. And it's here in this old train tunnel where some of the magic happens. No, very, very stunning place. What an office. I love it. So when did you start here?
We started this in 1987.
Yeah.
Firstly with shiitake and then with oyster mushrooms, because the mushrooms in France are grown in the caves underneath Paris. We grow about 1,500 kilos of mushrooms a week.
Okay, so what are these ones then, for instance?
These are shiitake mushrooms, this one.
Shiitake.
And it's the most consumed of all the exotic mushrooms. So traditionally they've grown in the forests in Japan, Korea and China. And so what we do here, this is just eucalyptus sawdust, which is compressed. It goes into the shape of a log, and that's how they grow.
Right, so they think they're wood.
They think they're wood.
Can I pick this up?
Yep.
If you didn't know.
You'd think it is wood.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I burn them for my heating in the wintertime.
That's the funniest thing I ever heard. Didn't do that. And it's after about 3 weeks in here that you get edible shiitake mushrooms. But hey, that's not all he grows. Take a look at these. Here we have the exotics.
Yes.
7 varieties. Oh, look, unreal. This is the shiitake that were up in the tunnel. Here, this is a...
Chestnut mushroom, this one.
And these are oyster mushrooms, but I love these ones. Look at the colour of those.
Yes.
And these are just what we all know as a
That's
normal
the
oyster.
ordinary oyster mushrooms.
And I love that. That's a gnocchi. And then that one is...
That's the golden enoki. It's the natural one that grows in the forest. This is the shimeji mushroom, which the Japanese call the meat mushroom.
Now, look, I've seen the process, but what I'm still not quite understanding is how do you make a mushroom? I mean, you know, they don't have seeds or eggs, or what's the process?
You would have seen in the tunnel the spores that were given off by the shiitake mushroom. When they germinate, we capture those seeds and use them in the laboratory.
Wow.
They're like insects. Millions of spores are produced, but only 1 or 2 survive and germinate.
And then we eat them. Noel catches the spores and grows them up. Firstly, in a test tube feeding on potato, then they're put in grain and then into those sawdust logs you saw. There you go. You'll think twice when you buy those fancy mushrooms, won't you? I've just enough time to get on the 3:30 back to the city. Okay, I've got all my ingredients for my dumplings. However, I've never made them before, so what should I do? That's right, go get some work experience. Din Tai Fung is the 41st of its kind in the world. They're famous for specialty soup dumplings, and head of dumpling PR, Yardley Kyling, is taking me through it. Now, what are the dumplings called?
小笼包.
Xiao Long Bao.
Yes, it means little basket dumpling.
Here, the dumplings are serious business. Team leader Chef Shan is from Taiwan and runs a tight ship. We're weighing the dough for making the dumplings, and if you have a look at this, He's pinching it off, but each piece weighs about 5 grams. Everything is precise. The dough has to match a 6.5 centimetre template and be just the right thickness to hold the soup. You kind of go like that and you...
Yep, hold it down. So far so good. Yep, 3 times, turn it around. I think you are very good, Paul. You've got some special talent.
I don't think I'd make too many in a day. Look how many I've done. Look at that.
A master in an hour.
Well, it took me an hour, and look how many chefs done. Show off. So once they're filled, you have to fold them, and there's a special art to the folding. And they need to have how many folds?
A minimum of 18 folds.
18.
Yep.
A minimum of 8.
Minimum.
I've got too much meat. Look, there's some folds there. See? You get the idea how to do it. I'm just gonna work. There's a fail. Perfect.
This looks more like a dim sum.
Fail. But I can eat them. And just for you, dear viewer, I'm gonna give it a go. Oh, just look at this food. Beautiful. But first, the xiao long bao. There's a special way of eating it, and they give you a card and it tells you how to eat it, and this is how it works. You mix up some soy and some vinegar. Beautiful. You pick up your dumpling, nice and gently. See how it jingles? Full of juice. Dip it into your dip, onto your spoon, stab it, kill it, and the sauce or the juice will all run out. See that? Beautiful. Taste. Absolutely beautiful. And then, of course, eat dumpling. I think that was the one I made. Next up, the time has come to cook my own version of the pot sticker and another truly unique creation, the Mecurios Sichuan bun. I'm back in Darling Harbour's very beautiful Chinese gardens, and luckily, Carol's still here. But there's a catch. One of the things about making beautiful food in beautiful places like this is they want us out in about half an hour. So I'm going to have to rush. We're going to make some...
Goji?
Yes, because my folding, the 18 folds that I learnt at, I couldn't do. So I'm not doing dumplings.
So we just...
I'm going to do something easy. I'm making gaoji. It's a bit like one of those soup dumplings, only a lot easier to make. Better known as a pot sticker, in fact. So it's just pork mince and some mushrooms and cabbage and all sorts of things.
Okay,
and it's all going to go in here. We'll flavour it up and then
You
fold
just tell me what to do.
I've got my mince, Mecuriosmenu.com for exact measurements, because I don't know. Put a bit of that in, put a bit of that in, a little bit of hoisin, which is a Chinese barbecue sauce, and a little bit of thick soy, mountain pepper leaf, and some beautiful long pepper that Ian down at Herbie's gave us. Beautiful blend, I love the smell.
Ian does wonderful work
He
at
does, doesn't he?
Herbie's, yes.
In go the mushrooms,
Your
the water
mushrooms
chestnuts.
and the water chestnut.
The other thing we just do quickly is we check my recipe.
All right, fine.
You can see that, that's the recipe. A bit of chopped ginger, chuck it in. In fact, I wouldn't mind a bit more of that. And that's it. That's pretty much the mixture. I'm going to put a little bit, no, don't. I always put too much in. I'm going to leave it. I'm using prepared wrappers for these dumplings, making my life a lot easier. Now, all you have to do is fill them. And that's it.
Right, yes,
that's my version. And all you got to do is fry them until the bottom is brown. Simple. Well, I call them pot stickers, we call them gaoji.
Goji, same sort of thing. Yes, yes. Very professional, Paul.
Ha! Let's have a look. Ready? Have a look in here. See? Brown. That's what you want. And then we put boiling water in there and steam
And
them.
steam them, yes, yes.
And there you have it. I'm sure you've made plenty of those.
Not as nice as these.
Oh, well. And there you go. Not bad, eh? Next up, my version of a kind of like a Sichuan bunny thing I saw in Beijing. Okay, here we are. We took the ball of dough, cut it up, and I've oiled the table with sesame oil because that gives nice flavour. And then I've just pushed the dough out. And again, I'm using that wonderful pork as my filling. And this is ideal, I reckon, just like a snack, probably with a cold beer.
Lovely with beer, I'm sure.
We just sprinkle on a little bit of spring onion. And then lastly, we've got this beautiful Sichuan pepper and 5 spice. I'm probably a bit liberal on this, but I like it spicy. Then, if it works, you just roll it over, like so. And because the dough is so